Hey, welcome to Pop Goes the Show. I'm Adam.
Assuming we're live, and I'm Slacker Steve.
Assuming
I totally
we're live.
like. Let's retake that.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Hey, welcome to Pop Goes the Show. I'm Adam.
And I'm Slacker Steve.
And we are one of, if not the laziest podcast in the world.
I don't know. After setting up this setup here, I don't.
Doesn't feel very lazy, huh? It's a lot of work. I don't do shit. I just sit here.
Yeah, the guy upstairs always complains about having to I gotta go buy you guys mic stands.
Yeah.
I have to go get you a webcam because you guys don't know what you're doing.
And all this time, I still don't have a good chair.
I got an awesome chair.
I know, that's.
You might have to bring like a purple throne chair sometime.
Maybe
that would fit better.
It's like, damn it. No, he just gave me the good chair because he's a slacker, dude. He can't survive on his own. We had this discussion.
I mean,
you're domesticated. You're not a feral slacker. So if you need the chair, and I'm able-bodied, I can probably go get a chair. Is how he figures it.
Well, I mean, I've been sitting in this chair so long that I'm pretty sure my microphone's gonna fall down.
Oh, wait.
My microphone's falling. But no, I've been in this chair for so long that I've practically fused with it. So.
Ew. So
what are we gonna talk about today?
Well, we keep it nice and rock and roll on this show, I guess. We keep it music related for the most part. Scott Stapp, right?
Scott Stapp. What about Scott Stapp? I know he had kind of like a meltdown a few years ago. I remember it was kind of like I felt bad for the guy. I wasn't like rooting for him to fail, but it was just kind of like popcorn, and you're just watching the train derail.
Yeah.
You just can't stop watching.
I'm just here steal me.
So he's apparently back up and running again.
Still. Oh, that is not a great picture. And just
we got a fancy new feature because I know a lot of people don't like to watch us, and I apologize to the 8 people that download our stream on Podbean because you won't be able to see this.
So you should come watch it.
Yeah, so we're on YouTube at Entity Productions. Just type in Entity Productions, Pop Goes the Show, it should pop up. If you're ever interested in watching us, but otherwise, we appreciate that you taking us along on your morning commute or whatever you're
or your third shift.
Yeah, that's but so now we're gonna be able to hopefully show things. Bear with us. If it doesn't work, let us know.
Yeah.
We have no clue. So all right, are we still here? It looks like we're still able to talk, and it looks like there's a thing going. So
awesome.
So there's Scott Stapp. He looks nice and oiled up.
He does look greasy.
So
his shirt's wide open.
So Loudwire.com. Creed Scott Stapp signs to metal label Napalm Records and teaches heavy new music. So
and he did. It's actually the little bit that you hear. It's not the worst thing I've ever heard. And I mean, you got to remember too. I mean, I'm no Creed the Creed bro or anything, but I mean, music is subjective. Mm-hmm. Whether you liked Creed or not, there's a lot of talent in that band. Tremonti, Stapp. I mean, Tremonti alone is a tremendous amount of talent for that band. Mm-hmm. And I mean, if you could, whether you didn't like Scott's voice or not, you can't say the guy couldn't sing.
Well, it was great for me when he left because they formed Ultravision. I really liked Ultravision. I know we don't see eye to eye on that one, but.
Which is weird because we both like Miles Kennedy.
Yeah.
I like Tremonti too. That's just weird. It's just one of those bands where it's he doesn't. I like Miles Kennedy, but he doesn't fall into that Dax Riggs column, where he's completely infallible. It doesn't matter what he does. It's I like Miles Kennedy, but I don't like Miles Kennedy enough to give him a free pass.
Well, see, I don't know how much you've delved into Ultravision, but they have an album called I think Fortress. It's got a song kind of sounds like Tool on it. It's got some really heavy songs
Sister Hazel had an album called Fortress too.
did they?
Yeah, that's great. That's a good band too.
Should we check out his clip?
Yeah.
All right, let's throw it on here. Switch this back over so you guys don't see our ugly faces.
Yeah. Hi, and we're going.
All right, so hopefully this works. I don't hear you. Oh, probably because we got to unmute it.
Ah. Yeah, not the worst thing. I mean, there's no vocals though, so I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to like say at this point, like whether or not that's going to be like good or not. But yeah, it's interesting. It's got me a little intrigued. I'm definitely going to check it out when he releases it.
With the keys and the opera singers in the background and stuff.
Yeah.
He's gonna do like the opposite. He's gonna, since you know they're kind of a religious band or whatever when they started, he's gonna do the opposite. He's like, today the world needs a counter to the evilness of Ghost, so I'm gonna do the exact opposite. And he just makes like a Ghost ripoff, but it's the exact opposite. It's just like Jesus music. That'd be great.
That'd be pretty cool. Maybe, I don't know.
I know. I'm pretty sure pretty sure Ghost will murder Scott Stapp live. I don't mean like literally. I mean like musically. No,
you don't think Papa's gonna come up?
Papa's gonna sacrifice Scott. That's great. They're already, Ghost is already the best band in the world. So I mean,
you pronounced Black Sabbath.
No. I didn't say best band ever. Best band in the world. Black Sabbath isn't a band anymore, so that don't count.
By the way, teasing our last topic for tonight. So.
Yeah. So yeah, it's worlds apart. So speaking of otherworldly, jumping one right to the other.
Yeah, this one's more of a movie pop culture thing, like something we're also.
And also about a guy that people kind of don't like a whole lot. That gets a lot of shit, and apparently, he did something really cool.
So, according to this article here, watch Topher Grace edits all 10 star. Wait. Oh, watch isn't part of the sentence. Topher Grace edits all 10 Star Wars movies into one epic 5-minute trailer. Well, all right. Have you watched this yet?
I have not.
Okay, well let's throw it up here and see. Yeah. Join us for our ridiculous commentary.
For over 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace.
Somebody's not familiar with Star Wars. Watch this first.
I think he just was like, you know what, there's just
Before the dark times.
So we're just going to shorten this up a bit.
Before the Empire.
We cannot let 1,000 years of democracy disappear without a fight.
This part, I'm not going to wait around for the Empire to draft me into service. Rebellion is spreading.
The time to fight is now.
I want to be on the side I believe in.
Yeah, meanwhile, I'm stuck here.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. He has too much of his father in him.
No, Luke, no.
Oh my God, dude, that looked like Peter Dinklage.
You
He cut that to where it was so brief of like old Luke
I
in
was
there.
once
It looked
a
like
Jedi
Peter
Knight.
Dinklage in Game of
Father.
Thrones.
He was the best
I was like, Peter
star
Dinklage
pilot
wasn't
in
in Star Wars. He just added that in there.
Cunning body.
I bet he will be at some point. He was in
Yeah, which,
out
okay,
of nowhere.
that was great.
Yeah, no, I was in the theater, even though I
Taking
never
the
leave
first
the chair.
step into a larger work.
But suddenly, like, oh my God, giant Tyrion.
I'm Captain
Yeah, and
Millennium
what's crazy is they still refer to him
Never
as a
heard of the
dwarf.
Millennium Falcon?
Right, and
It's a
he's
ship
like
that
way
made the
bigger than
Kessel
Thor.
Run.
It's like,
That dude was
Tiny,
huge. He's like
muscular.
20 feet tall. It was ridiculous. It settled in Memphis, he gave me crap about that because he always tells me the story about the guy that was the world's tallest midget. He was like 7 feet tall. And I'm like, dude, then he can't be he can't be the tallest midget. Like, if the height requirement for a little person, a midget or a dwarf or whatever, is like 4'9", and this bitch is 4'10", he ain't a midget no more. He's like, well, he started off as a midget, and then he grew to be 7'3". I was like, so you mean he was born, he had a childhood, and then he grew to 7'3"? Like, what? And then he saw Infinity Wars, and he's like, see, I told you, he's still a little person, but he's 20 feet tall. You can be both. I'm like,
well, I mean, I assume, is there some kind of like medical thing? Like, does it just define maybe stockiness rather than like size?
No.
I mean,
no.
Neither of us are doctors, so.
No. You gotta. There's height requirements to be considered an LP, and like you can't be 7'3" and be like, but I'm 82 yards wide, so I'm technically a little person. No, you're that's called a half distance to the goal.
Well, anyway, Topher Grace put out all 10 Star Wars movies. Check it out. It's called Star Wars Always on YouTube.
And Rant's gonna show up and put his foot in his ass. Like, oh, that's what you've been doing, dumbass.
So, speaking of people putting foots up each other's asses, Motley Crue.
Yeah, these old ladies are fighting right now. It's kind of funny. And he even says that. Nikki Sixx even says at this point, we're like two old women fighting. I'm like, well, that's kind of what it looks like, too. So.
Where did he say that?
I believe it's in the interview somewhere.
In this interview?
Yeah, it might be.
Hey,
oh, no, it's in the one where he talks about Kiss ripping them off.
Okay, well, let's start out with, we'll lead into that, but we'll start with Nikki Sixx on possibility of permanent Motley Crue reunion. We haven't had that talk.
Which means it's not going to happen. They're not doing it. Like, you didn't even have to write a whole story on that. Could have just been like, oh, we haven't had that talk. Okay, so Motley Crue are not talking about having a reunion is what the headline should have read. I mean, you can read through the story if you want, but I'm pretty sure they're not saying anything. Like, so, I mean, that's pretty, wow, like slow Newsweek or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting how once you're like as famous as Nikki Sixx, like people like just things that you don't say are as important as things that you do say. Or
right.
Do. Like, I don't know, we might do a reunion, probably not. I mean, they made some grand showing of them signing some cessation of touring contract or whatever, saying they can't perform again under Motley Crue. Which, that's not legally binding.
Hell no, that was probably their room service order, so when they got back to the hotel, their food would be ready for them.
You know, there's a YouTuber named Legal Eagle, and he analyzes, like, a whole bunch of, like, movies and situations, like, if they're, like, legal. Like, he did a whole episode of Liar Liar. Like, remember that movie?
I'm kicking my own ass.
That's one of my favorites. So, I kind of, like, I don't know. I kind of want to get in touch with him and be like, you're a lawyer. Like, what do you think of this, like, Motley Crue situation? Like, can they tour again even after signing that, or was that just decorative?
Hey, and if anybody hears this and you're a lawyer or a law student or whatever, please feel free to comment.
Yeah, like,
let us know. Like, we'd love to have you on the show and talk to you about the do's and don'ts and the ins and outs about a contract of this sort.
Yeah, I imagine there'd be a lot of people out there who love to hear that.
Yeah. We were the ones that finally cracked the case and exposed Motley Crue being completely full of shit. Oh boy, that's good.
Well, so Nikki Sixx, like, staying in the press. So we got.
Is that okay? In that picture, he looks like Captain America in a wig.
Oh my God, he does.
He's like, I'm Nikki Sixx. I'm the Nomad. Since leaving the band, he joined S.H.I.E.L.D.
He's not looking bad for 60.
Yeah, no kidding. So I'm like, that's not him.
I'm not going to look like that at 60.
So I don't look like that now.
Right? So, I guess he's kind of, like, pissed off at Kiss right now because they apparently copied their shtick.
Yeah, their shtick.
I guess, Motley Crue had their farewell tour a few years ago, and, Kiss can't be outdone, so they're talking about
Oh, imagine that. Gene, like in the music business, somebody stole an idea from somebody else. Imagine that. Unheard of. I'm shocked. Like, this is shocking. I feel shocked right now.
Well, you know, at first I remember like Kiss does like crazy shit like this all the time.
But this one's like kind of no.
But do you think it's like? I mean, there's a video over here. Let's. For some reason I switched over, but let's switch back. And we got two videos here.
The top video is Kiss.
And we just play both at the same time. Alright, so we'll play. Alright, well, let's check out. I mean, I gotta admit that looks quite a bit of a. I don't want to say.
Well, that happened with another show. I can't remember another band with the same thing. And what it was is that the copy they used to send to them. I told them all this kind of deal. They're like, oh yeah, we got leftover stuff. So, and Crew was like, no, you can't do that. Like they copied Tommy's drum cage or something like that. And they're like, no, dude, just because we did it. Like it might even been the roller coaster thing that they copied.
That sounds like it could. That sounds like something that had been done previously. I don't know for sure though.
Yeah, and they were not real happy about that. But I'm like, I guess it doesn't make a difference if you're not touring anymore.
Yeah, I mean, like Kiss isn't like taking anything away from.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
like nobody's gonna be like, oh, I can't go to that like Motley Crue show because Kiss is coming through and putting on a big production. Like, I don't know, maybe imitation is the best source of flattery or whatever that phrase is that I can't pronounce at the moment.
Or maybe it's just Gene Simmons doing what Gene Simmons does.
Well, I mean, I can totally see Gene Simmons going.
I don't care. Whatever. Screw them.
I'm just throwing money at it. So
they're not a band anymore, anyways.
Yeah, so I can see where he's coming from, but I mean, it's not like he has a copyright on that whole idea. Like I know Kiss. I mean, there's one where like I think it was Gene Simmons like went on a zip line to like the middle of the venue and like just stood there and played bass guitar for like the song, like which would freaking terrify me. Like Gene's got a pair of brass balls for like.
Garth Brooks did the same thing in Texas Stadium. He hit this high note and he raises his arms out to the side and just starts like floating up and took off on wires above the whole crowd and shit while he was singing. Badass.
I bet. Well, you were telling me like when you went and saw him like a few years ago. What was that, like his reunion or not reunion?
Yeah, like his comeback one.
Yeah, his comeback show. Like you mentioned, like the show started up and it was like some crazy stuff.
Yeah, it was nuts. It was like you saw the techs out on the floor in the arena shining flashlights up at the lighting and stuff like, and you could hear them talking to each other like something's not right. And you could see the guy at the soundboard like working on it, and like it was frantic, like something wasn't right. All of a sudden, all the fucking lights in the place go out along the side, LED screens along the side of the arena, and then on the top, everything started crackling and flashing. And I told my wife, I was like, this is a setup. She goes, how do you know? And I said, because those LEDs there, even if they're controlling them all from right here, those are still on a separate circuit than this is. All of it there would be a power surge that would affect both of them at the same time. It'd be a surge in all the arena lights, everything all at once, if that was the case. She goes, are you sure? And about that time, a skull and crossbones comes up on the screen. And then this like Terminator eye.
Like that sounds like something like Slayer.
Yeah, the machines.
Garth Brooks.
The machines have taken over. they've enslaved mankind, blah, blah, blah. And you hear like almost like the Terminator theme playing.
And then you expect Fear Factory to jump out and it's Garth Brooks.
And Garth comes out and he's talking about he does a song off not his last album, but the one before his basically his comeback album, which was Man Against Machine. And that's what starts the song. He talks about, Father, they're waiting just outside my door. This is where I make a stand because I can't stand it anymore. And it's all like a cappella. And then you hear work, and you hear people chipping away at stone and stuff. And it's pretty gnarly. Like he made it rain on stage and shit. Like
that sounds like it was quite a concert.
Yeah. That dude, it was a Mother's Day. And that dude played like late. He goes, I know it's Sunday night and you guys got to work tomorrow, but you guys, I ain't done yet. Like, fuck this shit. Let's keep going. I was like, yeah. And that's the thing is, because it was a Mother's Day show, he did some things that he didn't normally do. So, like, he was here, I think, 3 days in a row. And he did a different show each day.
Yeah, like, that reminds me, like, several years back, I saw the Foo Fighters. And they were on tour with Motorhead, but Motorhead like weren't able to make it. Like there was some weather going on down south, and I was pissed. I really wanted to see Motorhead. Yeah, but Dave Grohl, like being the awesome guy that he is, like he played a 3-hour set to make up for it. And not only that, but like one guy from Motorhead like was able to like get through the weather and like get there. So like he just hopped on bass, like Dave Grohl and the drummer from the Foo Fighters and him, and they played Ace of Spades like with like barely any like rehearsal.
Nice.
It was kind of awesome.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So like,
I bet somebody's got video of that. Hey, send us a link to that.
Oh, I know there's video because I looked it up later.
Well, then somebody send us that just so we know that you're listening and give us your opinion on what you think about it and whatever else you want to talk about because we're lonely.
Yeah, we get ideas.
Yeah.
We get together like 30 minutes before we start this and go, oh, what should we talk about? I don't know. Open up a browser window.
Yep, pretty much.
So one of the things that we ended up researching is Tony Iommi. You know, now that Black Sabbath's over, he doesn't have a day job anymore. So he's going back through his old catalog and looking at some old albums, and I guess he's going to remix Forbidden from 1996. So, I don't know. Are you familiar with that album at all?
Enough to know that it's not bueno at all.
Well, guess what I have?
Dead medium.
yeah. But yeah, I have the Forbidden album. I mean, I'm a diehard Sabbath fan, so
There's a reason it's forbidden. But we're hoping that Tony's going to fix that. By the sounds of it, that's what he plans on doing.
I mean, hopefully, but I mean, you can really only like do so much.
Well, the thing is, it was 96. If we're talking about something that was recorded in, 76 or 86 even, with tape and stuff like that, that might be. But I feel like it being done in 96, there was enough of the technology around. They might be able to, pull it together.
Well, we got a bit of a clip here if you guys want an idea of what it sounds like.
Oh, no.
On this album, it was produced by Ernie C. from Body Count. You remember that band?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Great band. And he just happened to do it, and he's like, you want to get Ice-T to come in? And I guess Tony Iommi was like, yeah, let's get him down here. And so they recorded the song. So we're going to play you a bit of Illusion of Power. And it's fair use because we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Illusion of power. It's already since I can see you. Illusion of power. Who are you fooling? You're caught in the complex catacomb of your own inadequacies and pitiful weaknesses. Your soul secretes insecurity, so you live on the reflection side of the mirror. You're terrified of true power. You fear. I can tell you stories of my shaded past.
Oh boy. That was thrilling.
I don't know. I mean, I dug it. I'm actually gonna like listen to this. Like next week, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna give you guys like a full opinion on it during my what you're listening to segment. But yeah, so Forbidden. I mean, I'm a huge Black Sabbath fan, so I'm picking it up. But.
Yeah, me too. Like, but there's a very short list of artists that get a pass for me. You know, like they can do no wrong. Like.
Well, like everybody has that artist that they give a pass to. Mine happens to be Black Sabbath.
Yeah. That's why this show works. Because we don't like agree on everything. Like there's some stuff like that you might not give Dax a pass on. I feel like.
Oh, I don't know. I'm pretty laid back.
Yeah. I feel I respect your decision about the Forbidden album.
Well, I mean, it's probably my least favorite Sabbath album.
Hopefully they make it better.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll see. I really wish they'd give a remix treatment to Born Again. Have you listened to that one?
Yeah.
The one with Heat Gillen, Deep Purple.
Yeah.
But I guess they were only able to find like 5 of the like tracks of the masters or whatever they needed to remix it. And I guess it's in Don Arden's fault, so he said. And I mean that's Sharon's dad.
I was gonna make a joke right there about they can only find like 5 of the masters, so if, you know, they wanna, what would you use to lure the other masters out of the vault? What would you use if you wanted to lure something out? Like an animal, if you wanted to, you could use bait. So if you were using bait to get these other tracks out of the vault, what should we do? I don't know. Masturbating. That took me way too long to get around to that one. That's a dad joke. So I knew a Russian sound guy once. I'm gonna check 1, 2, and check 1, 2. Almost as bad. Almost as bad.
Well, those are all the canned stories we had for you. So I guess there's a few things that you wanted to talk about, some movies that you saw over the weekend.
Yes.
I guess the week. I mean, every day is the weekend for me.
I went back and watched Masters of the Universe starring Dolph Lundgren.
Sounds interesting. Like tell me about it.
Okay, so, I mean, in 1987, I believe, when that movie came out, Star Wars, you know, the last Star Wars film came out in, what, like 81, 82? So you had a big gap in there, and there's nothing going on with Star Wars. So they decided to make a movie based on the HeMan cartoon, but using basically the Star Wars palette, if you will. It's even Skeletor's guards have basically black Darth Vader helmets on. They look like not like the Stormtrooper helmets, but you know, like the black ones that are similar to Vader's that some of them wear there. They've all got those, and then like these face masks. So
I'm just picturing more dark helmet.
Kind of like that, and you're expecting this movie to be really like terrible, and like it's a really good movie. I remember watching it when I was a kid, and I turned it on this week thinking, and that's actually free on YouTube. You can just find that.
Oh, it's free on YouTube.
Yeah, it's Masters of the Universe. So
well, that's cool. Maybe I'll throw that on when I'm being lazy.
I didn't expect it to hold up, but they're even using some of the blasters that they use look suspiciously like the ones that were used in Star Wars. Because Skeletor's guards have blasters, HeMan has a blaster. So imagine Star Wars like Return of the Jedi or something, but with HeMan. So instead of lightsabers, it's real swords. But he uses a blaster more than he uses his own sword. Like it's a really, really good movie. And I found out some interesting things about it as well. did you know that the original Kenner Star Wars toys, when Star Wars first came out, and they came out with those action figures, right? They went to Mattel, and Mattel said, "Well, you know, that's a great, you know, like kids are gonna love these for Christmas," and they're like, "No, we need these toys. We need these toys made like now.
That Skeletor doesn't look too bad.
We need like, you know, we need the toys." And so Mattel passed on it. Kenner said, "We'll do it." So that's how Kenner got all the rights to the Star Wars toy, and Mattel lost out. So basically, they called them up and were like, you know, the Mattel guys go, "Well, we need something." And they actually at one point were almost sued or were sued by Conan the Barbarian for the original He-Man, you know, Marvel or whatever, for their designs on He-Man. So basically, He-Man was, I mean, obviously was designed to make toys. That's what a lot of those G.I. Joe, a lot of those cartoons.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I mean, they designed the toy before the cartoon.
Exactly. Well, in this case, it was kind of the same thing with He-Man. Like Mattel executives even sat in on the making of the He-Man movie.
Oh, interesting.
But they lost. Imagine that, all the rights to the Star Wars toys. Imagine how stupid they felt when Star Wars hit.
Yeah, George Lucas apparently had that deal with them, and like, oh man.
And Mattel passed on it. Can you imagine being the president or whoever at Mattel and going, or being the guy that passed on that?
Yeah, right.
Oh my God. So, of course, they had to come up with He-Man and stuff like that to, you know, and ultimately they won because I'm pretty sure Kenner went out of business. So I'm not sure when. And I'm not sure they even did. They may still be around, but I know if you know, that's a good question. Because I have some of the newer reissued Star Wars toys. Like they look like the ones from the 80s. They're just reissues. But I don't believe they say Kenner on the bottom of them. It's like, we're going to look this shit up right now.
Yeah, but first, like I told you I was going to give a rant about this fucking keyboard, so I'm going to. Like, I don't know what this fucking thing is. Like, the guy downstairs, like, I was just like, I need a keyboard for our setup. And he gave me this freaking, like, rubber monstrosity. Like, the keys feel like chiclet gum. Like, oh, it's terrible.
You said rubber monstrosity. Oh, that's great.
No, actually, I'm setting up some ending music.
Oh, you're setting up some ending music.
Yeah.
Well, the other movie that I watched, because I mean, I watched a couple of really good movies, but the other one you're really going to like was Star Trek Generations.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yes.
I remember when that came out.
Yep.
Like, I'm pretty sure. Like, I think my dad took me to see First Contact in the theater. I think Generations was like 94. I probably wasn't like too aware like when that one came out. But I know I had some toys from it. Like I had the separating Enterprise and whatever. But oh, man,
One of my favorite lines from that movie is Data goes, "Oh shit!" Like him and
life forms.
Yep. When he just keeps laughing when they first go on the outpost, and he just keeps laughing, and Georgie's like, "Oh my God, dude!"
Yeah, right.
Like, God damn, it was even annoying me watching it. I was like, they did a good job because he's being super annoying right now, and Data's probably one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite.
Well, I mean, if you go back and like watch some of our old produced episodes, like I used that clip of him being like, "I hate this." Like,
yeah,
a bunch of
exactly.
times.
I was watching it at home, and I was like, hey, this was a thing. We stole this. We put this on our show notes. That's great. Oh, this is terrible. Yes, I'll have another.
So, like, in the scheme of things, I know a lot of people don't like Generations, but like, what's your opinion of it? Like, I know you're not as much like a Star Trek head as I am, but
I'm a Star Trek: The Next Generation head. Like, that's my shit. Because, you know, growing up, I didn't have but like a couple TV stations, and it was either that infomercial or like World News Now.
yeah, and I know like you're a few years older than me, but it was kind of the same thing. I mean, you know, I was 5 years old, and like it was on, so I watched Star Trek all the time.
Yep.
It turned me into a humongous nerd.
That's what I went to sleep to at night. Like, I would fall asleep, I would watch Star Trek Next Generation, and I'd go to sleep. I remember being so excited when Deep Space Nine came out. I was like, oh my God, like, because I was still fairly young when Next Generation came out. But I mean, I still watched it from the beginning. But I was little, so I didn't understand that the space between the original series, ending, and then Star Trek Next Generation, there's a pretty wide gap in there. Yeah. So I didn't understand the excitement of a new Star Trek show. But when Deep Space Nine came out, I mean, I'm like, oh my God, like.
Well, they were running concurrently for a little while.
It was like, dude, this is gonna be great. And I actually dug Deep Space Nine too.
Yeah, DS9 is my favorite. If I had to pick one, like I watch all of them, like I love all of them. I like Discovery, even though everybody's hating on it for stupid reasons.
That's Discovery.
I prefer like the Orville. Like I know every time I go on Reddit and see like anybody talk about Discovery, like it's a bunch of people going, I like Discovery, but the Orville, like I'm
pretty much.
Yeah.
That's because the Orville's fantastic.
The Orville like captured like Star Trek, the Next Generation, like specifically, perfectly. Like the way I describe it, because like I wanted to hate it. Like when it first came out, I'm like, oh, this is gonna flop. This is gonna be terrible.
I hoped it would have been good, but I thought the same thing. Like, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, it's surpassed my expectations by hundreds. Like, I actually did a Slacking with Slacker Steve episode on like the season premiere. But like I'm just like that last episode they did last week.
Isn't that on tonight?
Yeah, it is. So I'll be watching it tomorrow morning. But like the way they ended that last episode, we won't spoil it like at all. Like we'll just say like, holy crap.
Yeah, the show just upped it like 10 notches in one episode. Like you're going, oh my God, like what? You're taking characters that like I love, and you like made me completely turn on them in one episode, to where I'm like, fuck that guy. Like I won't say anything else because it'd give away. The insult I was gonna throw at this particular character would have given them away. But he's cool. He's cool.
Yeah, definitely check out the Orville if you haven't. Like if you're a Star Trek person and you thought, oh, Seth MacFarlane's doing this, like. Trust me, like he got it. Like I don't like it's.
As far as I'm concerned, this fits into like the Trekkie universe to me. Like this show doesn't feel like I feel like next season they could go, well, we've been asked, we're changing our name to Starfleet, or Starfleet has asked the Union to, is going to absorb it, and we're now part of Starfleet, and the Orville is now a Star Trek show.
Well, the way I look at it, like
it would fit.
I did another Slacking with Slacker Steve, shameless self-promotion, but I did one I called is Star Trek Discovery in a Separate Quantum Universe. Like, you remember that episode where Worf was slipping between different, like, time periods, so he got to see, like, Captain Riker, and, like, Picard died in, like, one of the timelines or whatever. Like, the Orville could, like, be, like, a separate, like, parallel universe of that. Like, I even thought, like, they could totally, like, cast, like, John Delancey and, like, just have him appear as, like, not Q for license reasons, although that'd be cool if like Star Trek just like allowed it. But like just have him like show up and be like Q, and it makes sense. Like he visited like a separate universe because Q is omnipotent; he can do anything. So like that would be great.
He was always one of my favorite characters too.
Oh, he's awesome. Like I just watched the Voyager episode where he's like trying to like make a kid with Janeway.
Yeah.
Don't be such a prude, Kathy.
He was one of those characters where like he'd do something in an episode and you're like, oh yeah, he's like a funny little trickster.
Well, hey, we got some comments here.
Oh, really?
So we got Scott Bakula is greater than Jean-Luc Picard. I think you might have a few.
Well, who said what? Man, I'm coming for you. Bakula?
Enterprise every other series. I like Enterprise. Unpopular opinion, I like Enterprise. But him, I mean, I forget which episode it is, but he did a rant about Bakula at one point. That was just...
It's not even Enterprise that's the problem, it's Bakula. It's Bakula. That show could have been so much better. But no. The whole budget went into keeping Scott Bakula's hair looking real. Wow, dude, we could have had a good Star Trek show, but no, you had to ruin it. Why don't you quantum leap yourself into a better role? I want to arm wrestle Scott Bakula.
And he left.
Bye, Felicia.
I love it when people like trying to troll our show, and then we just like, oh, but I like Enterprise.
Yeah. We go a little good cop, bad cop on them. They're like, fuck, I hate cops. I'm leaving. I didn't know this show was run by cops. Why'd you tell him that? Oh, you tell him that so he makes it good. Don't spit in that cop's burger. That's another good movie. We'll talk about that sometime. Super Troopers.
Oh man.
And we could talk,
I haven't seen the sequel yet. I need to see the sequel.
And we can do Super Troopers, Starship Troopers crossover.
You know, back in the day, I remember I used to confuse the two, and I didn't get around to seeing Starship Troopers until very recently. I'm like, why didn't I watch this years ago? This is great.
Goodness. It has everything you want in a sci-fi movie. It has a good bad guy. It has like compelling characters. It has nudity, like good nudity. Like, I mean, it's got everything you want in a sci-fi. I mean, not that nudity is required for good sci-fi. It's absolutely not. But, you know, it certainly doesn't. It made sense to the plot. Right? I mean, the shower scene, like, you see all kinds of movies with soldiers and stuff like that, but you never see them like, no one now made it sound like I want to see movies with soldiers taking showers. I'm just, you get what I'm saying though. That movie did a good job because it showed you like, not just them like, oh, we're troopers. Like it showed their off time. You know what I mean? The story was well rounded out.
Yeah, definitely.
Very well rounded out.
Definitely like a really good one to watch.
Yeah.
You know, it reminded me of the Futurama episode where they went and fought like the ball like creatures.
Yeah. Didn't they fight the brains once too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but that and Fry was too stupid.
Or we could also talk about the like greatest Star Trek like movie that isn't a Star Trek movie, Galaxy Quest.
Dude, that had to be where they got the inspiration for the Orville.
Oh, totally.
Like that's, I mean, I'm surprised they didn't just call it Galaxy Quest. Like that would have been, that movie's awesome too. Like
they were thinking about doing a Galaxy Quest series. I think it went through like development hell and eventually got canceled. But I was excited for that at one point.
That's the only thing I think I like that has Tim Allen in it.
What about Toy Story?
Who's he playing Toy Story? Is he Buzz? Yeah, because Tom Hanks is Woody. Yeah. That's different. He's voice acting, so I don't have to look at him. So, you know, Lexi met him once in a Walmart.
Really?
In Michigan.
Funny.
She was a little kid. She wandered off. She just went into an aisle, and there was Tim Allen.
Did he try to sell her cocaine?
Yeah. But her mom came and took it from her. So, no, that's mean. No. No. But she's just like, she's like, okay, come on. I'm like, that would be random as hell. Just come around the corner and just my kids just hanging out with Tim Allen. I honestly, like, I don't know if I'm all right with that. Like, I don't even know. I'm kind of neutral on it. I mean, that's pretty cool, but I kind of feel like, I mean, why didn't I get invited to the party? Like, you're just hanging out with Tim Allen in a Walmart somewhere. Like, well, it's pretty bitching, dude. Like, I didn't even get invited, nothing. Like, I'd have picked up one of them little phones. Like, if that shit happened to me today, I'd be picking up the Walmart phone. I'd be like, boop, boop. Lexi, I'm in the Lego aisle. Tim Allen's over here. Come quick. You're never going to believe this. And then she'd come over there and it'd just be some dude. She'd be like, you know, that's not Tim Allen, right? Be like, no, he showed me his ID. His name's Tim Allen.
Just some guy named Tim Allen.
Right.
All right. Well, I think that's all the time we have for today.
Yeah. So get to where you're going or wake up and do stuff. Or if you guys are tearing down right now, if you're listening to this live, you're in the kitchen, you're probably tearing it down for the night, waiting for the last 10 minutes to count down before some asshole comes over, orders 50 chicken wings. You know, break your station down, clean your shit up, have a shot, go home. Have a good night. I'm Adam.
And I'm Slacker Steve.
And we'll see you next time.
And we're going to play us out with
who are we listening to?
Non-Euclidean Pornography by Lucid Fugue.
Yes.
Lucid Liquid fudge.
Liquid fudge.